Recent poskim have disputed the halachic permissibility of using electric shavers. No, it's part of it. The basis of the discussion is the statement of the Mishnah in Makos cited above that the prohibition is only transgressed when using a blade. The explanation of the Gemara there that it must be shaving that destroys hashchasa. So we have two basic leniencies. Anything that doesn't destroy, which means uproot the hairs at or near their root. So the root is not the follicle, it's just the root of the hair, which goes below the skin. Such as scissors would be permitted, as the quality of the shave is significantly reduced. Any device that does not shave, such as tweezers or a plane, would be permitted, as that is not considered shaving, as the Gemara explained. The malaket and the rahitni were the plane and tweezers. Tweezers means you actually pluck every hair out.
Yeah.
And the plane is, I guess, like a carpenter's plane, some flat
goes
thing
back.
that sort of smooths it out.
Even if you pluck it out with a tweezer, it still goes back.
So that's good. So that's good. Sydney, even the barbers that shave with a straight razor goes back. We mentioned earlier that the majority of Rishonim hold that it is permitted to shave one's beard even with a scissors that is similar to a blade, and that's the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. According to this, it would seem that an electric shaver would be permitted. Even according to the Ritva, who held that one should not shave with scissors similar to a blade, as the Midas Chasidus do to Marsayan. Today, there's no such concern according to Rav Avadia Yosef in the Abiyah Omer. Remember, we read it. With a machine. For some, the davar hayat there that it's permitted afilu tam chshad shechasav aridvayin u'shayach kolkach. There's no chshad anymore that people are going to use a straight razor.
No, they don't see them doing it.
They just see the smoothness. They see the result. Shekol shadavar mefursam sheish derech heter lo shayach bo isur mishum marsayin. So wow. So Rav Yosef says very clearly there's no marsayin. The ritva is not a problem for us because there's no marsayin, because people know how they got a clean shave. It's very clear the way it was Bernie, the way Bernie learned it, i.e., not that they're watching the shaving; it's they see the result. If the result is very good, they think it might be a blade, so that's the bar side. Furthermore, even according to the Trumas Hadesh and the Ramah, that hold that when using scissors, one must keep the bottom blade stationary and only move the top one. So, nafkamin halacha, what they meant is, you have to be very careful not to move the bottom blade. That when you're cutting your hair with a scissor, you should go like this: cut, move it, cut. You sort of have to make the bottom stationary and not move it, because there was a chashash if you're moving it that you're actually going to cut. You're actually going to shave. There's a sharp and a non-sharp.
But both move at the same time. Every single scissors
Yeah,
they use.
but
The way
no, but you could fix it so that you leave this here and then go like this.
No, but he's talking about you use the scissors. She has a
Here, let me
central
bring the
joint.
scissors.
It goes like this. They both blades move at this simultaneously.
So one doesn't cut, basically. And he says not.
You could, Bernie,
Now
Bernie, what the Ramon wants you to do
Don't show us.
is do this. You understand? You're not moving the bottom blade. You're just moving the top blade.
But those people
And by
don't
doing
both.
this, by moving both blades,
Yeah.
it's worrisome that the
Yes.
sharper bottom blade is what's doing the action. And Ramos said not to do that.
Wow, but electric shaver, you
Say again?
could do electric shaver, you could. If you're using electric shaver, basically you're using both.
Well, let's see. Let's. So far,
because
so far we're analyzing
But you
very
go
good.
back again and cut the other way. You go one way and then.
Even according to the Trumas Hadesh and Ramah, that hold that when using scissors, one must keep the bottom blade stationary and only move the top one. In the case of electric shavers, the outside metal screen is stationary, and the hairs enter the shaver through the holes in the screen and are cut from the upper blade. So they want to say that these kind of razors that are made this way with a screen, and it's only one part that's cutting, and the other part is remaining
screen is
stationary.
actually one of
Is
the
like the
blades.
stationary, exactly. Is that the
Stationary.
stationary bottom part,
That's the
which
blade.
seems to be fulfilling what the Rama wants us to do.
Mm-hmm.
Based on this, the act of shaving with electric shaver should be classified as shaving with the scissors, which is permissible the way we've been learning. Now, however, the result achieved through shaving with an electric shaver is very similar to a blade. According to Tosfos Masechta Nazir, the leniency applies only when the scissors do not remove the hair from the root. So based on that, could be that the shaver is giving you too clean of a cut. The question therefore is whether to follow the nature of the act. Means if we just looked at the maisa of what you're doing a permitted maisa, which would permit it, or to follow the result, which is similar to the prohibited type of shaving. So that's what we're going to analyze. Let's see the Tosfos. V'tar nira.
What would you say when you looked at it?
Say it again.
What would you say? The act or what you started? Or what you
We're going to see. You will probably have poskim that are going to be machmir and say that since it gives you a result that looks like a tar, they're going to prohibit it. Would that surprise you?
No, that's
Yeah,
what I would say.
exactly. So, but we'll see if we have someone to rely on, then we have someone to rely on. The tar. Now, as we've been learning throughout the last 3 or 4 months, in virtually every sugya that we learned, there's usually a machmir, and then there are people who permit, and that's how. And we've understood. Well, what are they permitting it based on? Usually, there's a very reasonable reason why they're permitting. It's not like out to left field. It's based on a rishon or there's machlek, right? So it's going to be the same thing. So here's a toisvis near the koya ratio de ena lokel batar. Right, you only get malchus if you use a straight razor. Ele ema ke'en tar. So the Tosfos wants to say, even if you use something that is like a blade, or at least gives you the result of a blade, that uproots the hair and destroys it from the root, could be the same kind of punishment. So the logic expressed by Tosfos appears to have been adopted by the Chafetz Chaim. The Chafetz Chaim prohibited the first shavers that were manufactured. Chafetz Chaim passed away in 1933. They were making some, right? Edison was 1880.
So they're making them
They were making some electric razors originally.
Yeah?
He says which were manual. No, he says which were manual because he thought the shave was too smooth. So the Chafetz Chaim used the svara, not like we said of looking at the act, but looking at the result. Vinei, lefizeh, hamashinka, says the Chafetz Chaim. The mashinka, the mechona, chadasha, shemesaprim bam, that people are shaving with. Hainu mashakorim null. Null.
That's null, zero.
The kosher came chatzi null. It must have been the name of the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Shemegalchim ketar mamish. So they work like a blade. The toilish aser lagamri means the result of the action is it pulls the hair out. V'lo nisher me'uma, nothing remains.
We have them.
Hamesaper bam as a kono.
Are there shavers like that? No. Are there?
So he says
The
hamesaper.
original ones that-
The Chafetz
No,
Chaim.
but now we're talking about now. We're not talking about the original.
We're not there. We're building. At the time of the Chafetz Chaim, he analyzed the machine that was available at his time, and he said it's too close. He said it's oivra masha kozu bazgan legalechu. V'shoimer nafshe yirchak mizeh me'od. A person who's fearful for his life should stay far away from that device, says the Chafetz Chaim. So according, but we have Reb Chaim Oizer Grodzinski, the Achiezer, passed away in 1940, was the Gadol Ador and the Posek Ador, he lived in Vilna, certainly in the 20s, 30s, up until 1940.
He died in-
He died in 1940 before the Holocaust.
Before the Holocaust.
He's the one who sent the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish lived in Vilna until 1938. And he sent him to Eretz Yisrael, and as the heir apparent, he was already one of the Dayanim in the Vilna Beis Din. Chaim Ozer. So, for example, the heterim that we use, for example, for Sidi Eruvim, are based on Reb Chaim Ozer's Achiezer, and many other modern day leniencies are based on Reb Chaim Ozer. Reb Chaim Ozer was very active involved in the Aguda. Was very active politically. He was mamish like Rav Shach in his day. Right? When he said something, everybody listened. Ger, bells, so not only was he the big Talmid Chacham, he was really the leader of the door. So in his response, in the Achiezer, he said it was permissible.
Ask Rabbi Kraus, you'll see.
He's the permissible since we're talking about this new machine, same one that Chafetz Chaim talked about, where the result, he says he's not looking at the result, he's looking at the Maisa. He says since the Maisa is fulfilling what the Ramah says we're allowed to do, it's not going to be a problem. Since we're still not compared to a blade, one could feel the hair after the shave. That's a very big point. Go ahead, right? Feel your beard. You can feel your hair. It's there. And even after you take a shave in the morning, you don't just feel skin. You feel a little stubble. So they're giving us a geder that if you take a shave and you can't feel anything, that could be a problem. Now,
In Morocco, you can feel the stubble?
Now, nowadays, though technology has evolved, listen what they're saying. Nowadays, since technology evolved, even the Achiezer might prohibit using modern day shavers when used very close to the skin. So for this reason, some poskim, such as the Moadim Uzmanim, the Rav Moshe Sternbuch, prohibit their use where one cannot feel the hair on the beard afterwards when moving one's hand over it from bottom to top. So after so that's what now when you see the list, there's a list. Kosher shavers, not kosher shavers. Do a search.
Yes.
Say kosher, you'll see. I'm sure what people have done is taken a haircut and they do this test.
think it's based
I don't know what other geder they're relying
The
on.
floating of the knife.
Let's see. Now, Rav Moshe Sternbuch is still alive. I was zocheh to meet with Moshe Sternbuch on the halach of testicular transplantation. We asked that shaila to him. So he's still active as one of the major poskim in the world. HaMechuna b'yameinu. So he's talking about now. L'fia nira le'en megaleach kemotar. It looks to us that it does shave like a razor, at least smooth enough. But the action, it's not a straight blade, it's like scissors. It uses an upper and a lower blade and cuts. And Kain Rabbeinu Chazon Ish, Pasku, Shezeu Tar Mamish. So they felt it was a problem. Well, Rabbi Nagul Hakel, many are lenient. Uli Al-Dusi, when he was young, says the Moshe Sternbuch, Shamadi Shagon Reb Chaim Ozer, Hitir. V'av she'en mechona achas dom el chaverto, even though one machine's not like the other. Aval kafi sheshamati ha'sheila hayta b'mechona ke'ein elu ha'metzuyim hayom. But he understands that the question that was posed to Reb Chaim Ozer was similar to ours.
Good ones.
Nira shetolu begener hashchasa. Now, the question is, how to define hashchasa? Ha'im talu berias ayin. Is it based on looking at a person and seeing how well shaven he is? When you look at a person after a shave, you can't see hair. And maybe perhaps the din will be as if you did a hashchasa with a razor. Even though you didn't use a tar, since if you look at it, it looks like the mashchis, osir kidin tar shetoli b'hashchasa. Now, v'im toli b'mitzias, but if it's reality, and not the way we look, since the upper and the lower parts are cutting as scissors below, and it's not just the lower blade that's cutting, it's really the action of both, so it's not like a blade. So sometimes the bottom one will cut. So we know that, for example, Dover Sheinim is Kavin on Shabbos. So Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda says it's also, Rabbi Shimon says is mutter. So for example, I want to drag a table from here to that corner. In the process, I made a ditch I made a furrow in the ground. I was not miskaving to do that. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, even though I was not miskaving, it's usher. According to Rabbi Shimon, it's mutter. Now, it's got to be an action that you can't say automatically is going to cause that gritch. That's called a psik reisha v'lo yomos, means you cut the chicken's head off because I wanted to use its blood as a fertilizer. Or I didn't want to kill the animal. Or I didn't know it was going to. But that's a psik reisha v'lo yomos. That means psik reisha v'lo yomos, it's a bitmia question. It means you can't cut somebody's head off and have it not die. Remember, you can't kill on Shabbos. So there, even Reb Shimon would be moida, but psik reisha, I feel Reb Shimon is moida. So that's what Rav the Sternbuch is saying here. So there is an aspect of you weren't mechavein. That means if the bottom blade would cut, you were not mechavein it to cut. You didn't want it to cut, and it's not a secret. It's not going to happen all the time. So he gives us a leniency regarding that. They ain't some secret, because if there would be a psik ratio, you wouldn't be able to use the leniency of Dover Shem Yiskavin. Ach vare l'maisa yesh lichshush lesser Torah k'ma shekosav ha'chavetz chaim v'chazon ish. Remember, he's the head of the Eida Charedis, so he's noy to l'chumra, like the Chavetz Chaim, the Chazon Ish paskin. Umemela li'in giluch b'machona shu iser chomer, shamegalech atzmo over chamisha lavin, vare chayavin la'achmir. So he says you should be machmir. V'chein hor agon Rabbi Yaakov Kanievsky, lesor, shezeu iser deraisa ketar. So, Sidney, that might be what you're referring to, that when Kanievsky is telling people to grow their beard, because he holds that it's an iser deraisa. Yeah, but we have to make sure that this doesn't lead to a chumrah that's going to end up being a leniency. So, that means he knows that people are going to need to shave, so still use a machine, until you can get used to not using a machine. The Minchas Yitzchak, who was also the Dayan of the Eida Charedis prior to Rav Moshe Sternbach, forbidded using an electric shaver. It goes a step further, that if it does not leave behind any hair, it even has the status of an actual razor, not just scissors with a blade. He therefore writes that it may not be used at all, since people are not careful not to shave close to the skin. So we don't have to read the Minchas Yitzchak, because we already saw the chumrah of the Ma'adim Uzmai. Now, the Shevet HaLevi, Rav Vosner, just passed away a couple of years ago, in the source below, agrees with the ruling of the Minchas Yitzchak, as do Rav Nissim Karelitz, who's also a major posik today. So I'm not going to read those two, but in contrast to the stringent, look at 205. In contrast to the stringent poskim rulings given above, there are a number of possible grounds for leniency given by other contemporary poskim. The first is suggested by the responsa Or L'Tzion and the responsa Yitzchak Yiranein, that the basis for the allowance to use the scissors in a manner similar to a razor is not related to the quality of the shave, but rather to the method of the shave, as even shaving with a plane and tweezers, which the halacha permits, causes one's face to be totally smooth afterwards. Means he's arguing like this: if you use a tweezer, you're fully smooth. So why are they worried? Oh, it looks fully smooth like a razor. If you can use a tweezer, why shouldn't you use the electric shaver in the same manner? Since it's not the same method of shaving as a razor. Based on this logic, these authorities write that since the electric shaver uses two blades, it is different from a razor, therefore is permitted. They add that the fact that the shaver removed the ink from the hand of the Chazon Ish, as reported by the Minchas Yitzchak, I guess he did an experiment where he put some ink and he shaved himself, right? Also does not serve as proof, as that was for a different reason. Therefore, only certain models should be avoided when shaving close to the skin, but others are permitted even for a close shave. And let's see the Abia Omer. Achar Rav Gon Rav Yitzchak Broda B'shut Yitzchak Yiranein Shabira Dover Eitzel Chashmalim Muskamim Yirei Shamayim. They checked with electricians for Amru the Masha Nimcha Kadyol Yidei Giluch HaMechuna, that Chazon Ish did this experiment. They erased some ink from his hand. That's Choma Chashmal Grom Lizos. He wants to say it's the heat. It's not that, because the Chazon Ish wanted to say, it must have cut so much of the skin. It got rid of the ink because of that. But he says it melted because of the heat. They don't have to reject all of the machines because of that. Remington, V'osar, V'shuv, Herelo Mechonik Yiluach Madgem Phillips, V'omer Zem Mutter. So even the
was okay, Remington was not
right.
okay.
Because of a Rav Machaber, Lachain in Mokum Lachmer B'chol Mechonot Giluach. You don't have to answer everyone. El Yesh Li Zar B'Mechonos.
Be careful with
Listen to
that.
this. Yesh Li Zar B'Mechonos Braun, Ronson,
It's not wrong, but we have exceptions.
Ronson, and Snay. Shlo Lahadik HaMechonot El Or Apnim. The
Braun
Sulo.
is the B-R-A-U-N, not
Yeah,
B-R-A.
okay. So
Uv'Mechonot Chashmaliot Medgem Phillips or Remington V'Shik Mutter. Afilu Lahadik HaMechona Al Or Apnim V'Ein B'Hem Shum Chashash. So here you have it. Phillips, Remington, and Schick shavers is permitted. When pressing closely against the skin, there's no concern. He also heard from the Or L'Tzion, the Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, Shor lahatir av mechonos kiluach hachashma even with the electric razors. Afilu de kiluach b'mechonit eliyu ponav chalukim k'motar. Even if it was completely shaven. L'chein amru b'shmot tamido Rav Gon Rav Gidon b'Moshe Nero Yar.
A lot of shavers, you read what they advertise there is they advertise something known as lift and cut.
Well, we're about to do that. You know, we'll leave this for next week. We'll pick up
No,
on.
you're not here next week.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
We'll
Oh,
pick,
so once you
we'll
do
pick up
next-
on page 206 and deal with the lift and cut. We still have Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank, there's more. But we got, I think, a very nice base for this, and then we'll try to do Shiluach HaKain and finish volume 1 next week. Well, it's not Shiluach HaKain, it's not very much.
Oh, yeah, we did pay.
You can,
I'm not here next
I